present here online.
Former President of Kosovo is online.
The National Working Group of the Supporting Advancement for Gender Equity, an initiative that is co-led by the national and international working groups who work with a coalition of civil society organizations. I want to start by thanking Mr. President for the support you are giving Nigerian women since your assumption into office, the various appointments you've given, both at the federal executive and other chief executives of various boards and parastatals. We celebrate you as our dear President, and this visit is part of activities marking the International Women's Day. The whole of the month of March is a month that acknowledges and celebrates women all over the world. Today we have from the international group joining us virtually, you can see them, former President of Liberia, Malawi, Kosovo, and the former Senate President. We also have with us here our Royal Father, Dr. Shehu Chindu Yamusa III, the Emir of Kefi, who is a very committed member to this cause. We also have the former Minister of Women Affairs, Haja Inna Shiroma, and we also have my big sister, Professor Remy Sonanya, Professor of French, and also 2015 COA Party presidential candidate. We also have your fan, Innocent Idibia, also known as Two-Face, Baba Award Nigerian musician and philanthropics, and other members of the team. SAGE is a non-partisan initiative that seeks to increase women's representation in public office in Nigeria by advocating for political and legal reforms at the highest levels. In 2020, SAGE and civil society organization partners submitted a memorandum to the National Assembly Committees on Constitutional Reforms, calling for quotas for women in the legislature, and are currently setting up a bipartisan political party advisory group to broaden opportunities for women within Nigeria, leading initiative partners with the Ministry of Women Affairs, National Assembly and development partners such as the National Democratic Institute, NDI, United States Agency for International Development, USAID, and the UN Women. I thank you, Mr. President. These are members of the delegation, and this is the purpose of our being here. Thank you.
And I'm truly grateful for being invited. As a member of the African Women Leaders Network, I would like to first take this opportunity to thank you, Mr. President, most sincerely for the support that you provided to our Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala on her candidature to the WTO. I say this because, being a woman leader, I know that most fellow women fail to take positions in international organizations because they don't get support from their country and their president. And I also happen to know that Dr. Okonjo-Iweala did not serve on your cabinet, but you stepped out and you did everything that you could, Your Excellency, to support her. Not only did you support her, but you also supported all women of Africa. And so I speak freely on their behalf in expressing our gratitude to Your Excellency for that statement. Your Excellency, secondly, I would like also to congratulate my sister Minister of Women and all young people of Nigeria and men and women who also worked so hard during that period, leading to the WTO position. To reiterate what the diplomat before me has said, Your Excellency, I participated as keynote speaker yesterday on a launch of a barometer that shows where Africa has done in getting women into leadership positions. And it was very sad to find that Nigeria is on the position number 185 out of 190. And I do know that this can change quickly. Because as far as we are concerned, Nigeria is a country of achievers. But we are particularly watching what Your Excellency is doing, and we know that during your time, we can achieve more. Currently, as mentioned earlier, the ongoing constitutional review process provides a unique opportunity, Your Excellency, for you and the people of Nigeria to enable 35% gender quota in Parliament. I have no doubt whatsoever, Your Excellency, that this shall be possible. And all I can say is to join those that are in this meeting to encourage you, Your Excellency, to do what is right. And I know that it will be your legacy. But I also say this with no doubt whatsoever, Your Excellency, that you will do it. I wish you God's blessings, and I bring you greetings from Malawi. My president sends you the best greetings and goodwill. I just spoke to him an hour ago and told him that I was going to be speaking to Your Excellency. May God bless you always. Thank you.
Let me therefore start by wishing all of you a belated Happy International Women's Day and Happy Women's Month. I want to commend your group for taking an interest in our national development and advancement by adding your platform to demand for increase in women's participation in governance and decision-making at all levels. Women are a credible force in strengthening our democracy and promoting the culture of peace and food security. I am most grateful for the role women have played and continue to play in our government. Their contributions are valuable in sustaining our socio-economic fabric from the corridors of decision-making to our rural communities. This administration places a premium on promoting women's inclusiveness in national development, as we have demonstrated with those holding key portfolios in this administration. They include the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Minister of Women's Affairs, Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment, Minister of State for Environment, Minister of State for Transportation, Minister of State for Federal Capital Territory, Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Chair, Federal Character Commission, Managing Director, Nigerian Post Authority, and others. The theme of this year's International Women's Day, Women in Leadership, Achieving an Equal Future in a Coronavirus World, calls for more concerted efforts, and Nigeria is more than ever committed to join in raising the bar for women's representation at all levels. This administration has demonstrated this by engaging in intense diplomacy to support the aspirations of Nigerian women to provide leadership and at the global stage. I am very proud of the achievements of my former Minister for Environment and the United Nations Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed, Fatima Mohammed Kari as the African Union Permanent Observer to the United Nations, and the newly elected Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. We will continue to support them to succeed, and we shall continue to advocate our women who qualify to lead international fora. In the wake of the coronavirus pandemic and its attendant problems, including the spike in gender-based violence, this administration promptly responded by declaring zero tolerance to gender-based violence in the country. I have since directed the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, in collaboration with the Minister of Women's Affairs, to immediately inaugurate an interministerial gender-based violence management committee to address all forms of violence against women and children in the country. This body is already in place and running. In addition, I have approved that 45% of the small and medium-scale enterprise funds be reserved exclusively for women, with 5% goes to other vulnerable groups. This, apart from the immediate relatives targeting them. We have also expanded our social intervention programs to further address the needs of the most vulnerable women in our society. Education of the girl child and the empowerment of mothers are fundamental to achieving an increase in the number of female leaders in the country, and our objective of lifting 100 million of our citizens out of poverty in 10 years. At the commissioning of the Ministry of Women's Affairs headquarters building in January 2020, I had pledged to address child marriage and boost girl-child education across the country. This is born out of my concern on the increasing number of our out-of-school children in the country. This government would sustain ongoing efforts to address this issue. I am aware that given the size of our population, more can be done to improve the participation of Nigerian women in politics and in seeking elective office. The twin evils of limited access to education and poverty and gender-based violence remains a strong inhibitor. However, our resolve remains unshaken in tackling these issues. Despite the spike of incidents of abduction of school children and other security challenges, this government remains resolute in its pursuit of a just and credible society devoid of inequalities and promotion of the rule of law. Let me assure you all that we remain committed to working with groups such as yours to address these challenges. As a leader of the governing party, I will lend my voice to the amendment of the party constitution, which is ongoing now and is the entry point for effective and meaningful participation of women in elective offices. Once again, thank you for your efforts and support to our women. Let me conclude by recommending that in your specific area of advocacy, which is increasing women's participation in electoral processes through legal reforms, I will ask the Ministries of Women Affairs and Justice to work with the National Assembly to ensure necessary reforms are passed in the ongoing constitutional and electoral reform processes. Thank you, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Yeah. Do you think this time around this push is for real?
Yeah, I think it's very, very necessary. I think Mr. President has promised, and we're hoping for a very favorable response. But from what he said, I think he's really committed to engage the parties and also the Ministry of Women Affairs, and also all the necessary people that are going to be in the position to add this to the Constitution and add this to whatever new package they'll have for women. So I'm looking forward to a very favorable response. And this has been great today, and I'm optimistic. Yeah, it's high time.
How do you think
Don't
women will impact on politics?
I think women have a very, very they have soul, if you understand what I'm saying. So I think if we have more women in the system, it's going to shift a whole lot of balance of stuff. You get some things where men hardness today, they allow them to think out. So I think now Nigeria and they understand this one too. So for me, I think it will go a long way. We need more women in the system, and we will see a whole lot of difference once that happens.
Thank you.
So I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.